SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
Never take your heart health for granted. For just $99, you can get a complete screening and know your risks. Call 601-249-5198 to schedule your Happy Healthy Heart screening at Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute. That's right.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. Grateful for you tuning in as always. Visit Mississippi.org with the birthplace of America's music. Go check it out. Plan a ride on the Blues Trail markers. You're going to end up in Liverpool. There's over 200 of them. And you can eat your way around them. Let me just tell you. Excited about today's guest. Shout out, first of all, to Rob Evanoff, a publicist, good friend of mine out in L.A., who's hooked me up with today's wonderfully talented guest. Also, he sent me and my wife Gwen for Christmas a bunch of little baby food-sized jars of ice cream. I don't know if I love him or hate him right now, but we finished it finally, and I'm going to have to run a lot of miles just to get rid of it. So anyway, shout out to Rob. Thank you, buddy. All right, my guest today is an incredible singer-songwriter, composer, producer, a lot of instruments in her world, who has a cultural music history as rich as her talent. Born and raised in New York City's 1970s, really diverse Upper West Side by an American classical pianist and a European professor of French literature. She has no choice but to be creative. She's seen it all, from utopian collective free schooling and Austrian expressionism. I got to make sure I say those things right. She left her home at the tender age and the very innocent age of 17 and spent a year traveling around Europe. Naturally, she picked up a guitar, started playing folk music on the streets of Venice and surrounding areas. As her fate would have it, she wound up on a beach in south of Spain. Sounds awful, doesn't it? Where she was adopted by the local gypsy flamenco. Am I saying that right? Singing champion, and began to develop a commitment to this visceral mode of live music. She eventually moved back to New York City, her home, and went on to perform and form a band called The Fortunate Few. She also released 7 albums under her own name. I'll get to that in a minute. Sorry, not yet. Her songs have been performed and recorded by a plethora of iconic musicians, including jazz artist Catherine Russell, pop singer Karen Elson, many more. Besides her own work, she's performed and collaborated with such artists as Jack White, CeCe Roach, Thomas Dolby's Ted House Band, and the beloved bar band Mumbo Gumbo, to name a few. Sounds like something down here in my neck of the woods. Currently together with bandmates Terry Radigan and Amanda Homey, she is a member of the Vicky Cristina Barcelona Band, covering Tom Waits' catalog in 3-part harmony. I love some Tom Waits. Let's get to it right now with the multifaceted singer, songwriter, crazy talented, our girl Rachelle Garnier. What's up?
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
How did my French there, Rachelle Garnier? Did I do good?
Yes, it's perfect.
I'm good. I'm proud of myself. So you look like that you're in what part of New York, you said?
At the moment, I'm upstate, a little 2 hours north of New York City, up in Kingston, enjoying, lots and lots and lots of snow. I'm heading down to the city in just a little while to play a show on Saturday night, see family and friends there.
I love it. We got to talk about this Tom Waits thing. My son's a filmmaker in LA, and he and we've spent a lot of time listening to Tom Waits. Special act. Of course, very unique in his celebration of live. You know, we've seen some crazy things, how he performs and stuff, and there's nobody like him. God has great heart. So what's that like, and what made you guys take that on?
Well, it was a group. Actually, there's a new member now named Kirsten Thien. She's a really beautiful blues artist as well. So Terry Radigan went on to other work, just so we have Kirsten Thien, Amanda Homey, and me. And it just started out as it's a group of, we're all songwriters. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like we're finding a common ground in his songs because we're all from very, very different influences. But all of us appreciate Tom Waits, but we're coming from way out. To tell the truth, when I used to play years ago, people would say, "Oh, you're like a female Tom Waits," and that really got on my nerves.
You got the rough of the voice. The ground of the voice.
I had moments where I grabbed onto that voice. I wasn't doing it for Tom Waits reasons. It was just part of what was happening. And people would say, so that, to tell you the truth, it's a little bit ironic for me now that I'm like all immersed in these songs. But we just have a wonderful time bringing our own influences to them. We call it redecorating the songs. So.
Well, great songs can be redecorated a whole lot of different ways, right?
Absolutely.
Right. He's a great songwriter. Just when I hear his Hold On, I mean, I know that was one of the more popular ones, but it's just puts you in this place of peace, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful, you know?
It's a remarkable song, and it's hard to sing without crying.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. So let's dig in a little bit of your past. You're growing up with this crazy household, to me, of a lot of talent, a lot of passion, a lot of compassion, and your dad and your mom, kind of easy for you to fall in love with making music, I think. It was constantly being painted all around you, right? You wake up in the morning, new backdrop, and there they are, and they're just painting away at life. What was that like growing up? How much did that matter?
Oh, well, it sure did matter a lot. My mother and father ended up living in different apartments when I was pretty young, but I spent more time at my mother's home, and she worked a lot. She's a piano player, and she worked a lot with chamber groups. So I was really lucky to absorb. I kind of had to be quiet when they were rehearsing or she was teaching. So I'd be in the back, but I got to hear bassoons and clarinets and violins and string quartets and, of course, sheep practicing. And I swore I would never be a musician. I wanted to be a writer, write books and stories. But it just was it just seeped in, and it was so beautiful. I appreciate it so much now that I could have that palette and range of instruments and sounds and music. But I was a real bookworm, and I kind of fell into making music when I was traveling around as a teenager. And I realized, too, it wasn't the right thing for me to be isolated and writing. I needed to be around people. And
right.
The way but I did not want to do classical music.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, you play a whole lot of instruments, right?
I'll do my best.
You just like to pick them up and just go?
Yeah.
And so what's the latest instrument that you picked up that's off the wall?
Well, I mean, I'm working on a little plastic trombone, a P-bone. I'm not getting that far.
Oh, I like that. That's mischievous is what that is, at the 10th degree.
You know, between that, the accordion.
I've heard about you and the accordion. Yeah.
Yeah. Banjo. It's like, the trifecta of instruments that nobody wants. I mean, I picked up accordion as a joke, and it backfired pretty hard. So, but now go on.
I was just going to tell you, great. We lost him not too long ago. He used to play on my records. Joel Sanier from Louisiana, from Lafayette area. Oh my gosh. every time he picked up that accordion. He was the only one you called for that because, who's lugging that thing around with everything else? I would love to see you bringing instruments to a gig. You better have a 3-man road crew. That's all I've got to say. Let's take a quick break real quick. We are with the wonderful, wonderful Rachelle Garnier, incredible artist. She has been on the stage and celebrating the studio with many of the greats. And she's one of them as well. She's New York City based, back home, traveled the world a little bit, and doing what she does. Visit Mississippi.org. Loves everything about Rachelle and what she does with the birthplace of it all. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute. Former Miami Hurricanes defensive back and wide receiver Rashawn Jones saw a mistrial declared after a deadlocked jury couldn't determine if he murdered teammate Brian Pata 2 decades ago. Jones was accused of shooting and killing Pata outside of his apartment in 2006. Jones was not arrested until 2021. During the trial, the prosecution tried to paint a picture of a feud between Jones and Pata over a girlfriend. One big piece of evidence involved former Miami instructor Paul Connor, who claimed he saw a person walking away from Pata's complex shortly after the shooting. 7 months later, he identified Jones in a police lineup, but the defense argued it was dark at the time of the few-second encounter and took issue with the identification coming months later. Connor also said he wasn't sure if he was wearing his glasses at the time. With the mistrial, prosecutors are allowed to try the case again with a new jury. Jones and Pata overlapped on Miami's football team in both the 2005 and 2006 seasons. There's more on this story at foxnews.com or subscribe to the Fox True Crime podcast. I'm Gianna Gelosi with your Fox True Crime Minute.
Before you're
Talk Mississippi.
When you've done all you need to do, and you've had more trouble than you can use, and you've painted every
Rolling into a Mississippi Minute. Excited today's guest, Rachelle Garnier, and that you should see it spelled. But growing up down here close enough to New Orleans, you get it. It's pretty much spot on. Visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip. A lot of great culinary. Wonderful restaurants being celebrated now by Michelin. We hadn't gotten the award all the way, but we've gotten some mentions and considerations. And I know where Rachelle lives, there's Michelin star restaurants all over the place. My daughter works at one. She's a chef over there at the Musket Room. Rachelle, have you ever been there?
No, but I believe I need to go.
On Elizabeth Street. It's really good. It's really, 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 really good. Really good.
Oh, great. That's so great.
Let's talk about culinary real quick with you, because I feel like that what you and I do for a living has a lot to do with our love for creating anything, and cooking has been one of the things for us. My wife and I and our daughter picked up on that like at a very tender age at 3 or 4, and she ran with it. How about you when it comes to food and cooking and all that?
Well, the latest thing I'm obsessed with, I call it signs of intelligent life, is fermenting. So I'm making sauerkraut. I'm like trying to ferment everything. I make a version of, nouveau kimchi that I'm throwing things together. But I do love to cook and bake. And as the winter comes, of course, I'm just baking everything.
So you like to bake. I mean, that's a little scientific, right?
Well, yeah, I'm more like a home style baker. Like my brother's a perfectionist and bakes these amazing, lovely things. And I'm kind of like, it's banana bread, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't. Well, come on. Banana bread is good. Tell me. Yeah, exact. Well, tell me, your brother, you said, is a really good baker?
Yeah. He's actually, our whole family, before it became trendy, we're gluten free for like 30 years. So we feeling some issues, and this was luckily a friend from Italy where they knew more about it 30 years. So my, hipped us to it, and my brother was like, what am I going to bake? He's learned how to bake these versions of like baguettes and pastries and delicious, perfect things.
Oh my goodness. That just sounds so good. So
well, like
good.
you said, it's chemistry, so it's
Yeah,
very-
yeah. Well, the ones that take it like that, I always give my mom a little grief. She used to make these really precision-made biscuits that were flat, and it took a lot of time, and they were so good. And then she figured out a drop biscuit, which is just a biscuit you throw in there, and it's just ugly looking, right? And I always said, I can't believe you're cutting corners. How could you do this? Doesn't taste as good, doesn't look as good. And she goes, it takes too much time. I've been busy. I got 5 of y'all and da-da-da. I said, no excuse. So I've given her grief for this. So anyway, she still has not made those biscuits for me anymore. They're just a fleeting memory. And the older I get, the more I'm realizing or wondering, did they ever even happen? So, all right. How did we get and talk about food? I didn't want to go that far with this. Let's talk about some of the musicians you've collaborated with. Let's start with Jack White. What was that like? How did that all happen?
I was in a group for a while called the Citizens Band. It was a cabaret, theater, aerialist, kind of all-star kind of show. And with sort of a focus on political issues and getting people out to vote and dealing with just sort of the controversies of the current this was years ago. So it's all stuff. Everything old is new again, because we were picking up songs from the 1920s and the 1930s.
Wow. Oh, such a great era. Such a great era. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then one of the people in the group was Karen Elson. And she eventually she ended up marrying Jack White. And she and I, did work together with the Citizens Band, and she asked me to come to Nashville and do some co-writes with her and hang there, and I ended up being in her band for a minute.
Wow.
And Jack produced her album, the first album, and sort of asked me, hey, you know how to play Hammond organ? I said, nope. He goes, great, get on that thing right now. Everything I thought was a demo was like, no, that's the record. I appreciated that a lot. He had just started doing his 45s, his series. He goes, do you have a song? I said, I just wrote one the other day. Here it is. He says, okay, cool. Calls LJ. He's like, I'm going to play drums. You play piano, sing the bass.
And that's
drums.
what it's like, right, for him? Is that it?
And great. There was one little fluke where the vocal and then Vance was an engineer in, at the studio. And then there was one little fluke where the vocal didn't come out perfectly. Like they just didn't record. It was like a ghost. So that's the only overdub that happened. I went in, I said, I can match it right away. Within, 46 minutes, the whole thing was done. And I loved working with him in that way, that he's just like, go.
Yeah. He's fearless. I mean, so we know he's one of the ones that came along that's just not afraid to do, what you just talked about. You can't play the B3. Great. Get on it. A lot of magic comes from, first of all, you can play so many instruments, but you watched your mom on that piano forever growing up. But there's something about you getting on something that you don't really aren't as familiar with, that you don't spend time practicing on, and you find things. Cause it's like, you're this musician, right? And you're going like, it's like writing a song with different tunings and different open keys, or grabbing a different instrument and being able to write a song that you would have never written because you're on something that's unfamiliar, right? It's the unfamiliar part's kind of beautiful. It's a sort of the naiveness and naivete and all that. I think that sort of creates the magic. What do you think?
I'm right there with you, in agreement. And I did a lot of busking and playing on the street for years.
Yeah.
A lot of do is like, you just better learn a new song. Because the subway, I knew one song, then the subway doesn't work, and people are just standing there waiting for the next one. You better learn something new and do it. Just do it.
Wow. So you leave and you go off at that young age. You're still being nurtured and being influenced and really being impressed, right, at that age. And then you come back home. When you came back home, what did New York look like musically to you and culturally?
Well, so I came back home. Part of why I came back home is I thought I was going to settle down in Amsterdam and work on these movies, and there was a whole thing in the air that just completely fell through. And one night I was watching that movie Wild Style. It was about the hip hop scene in New York. Graffiti, the rapping, like the b-boys and all this stuff had just gotten like documented, you know? And I was sitting there in Amsterdam and thinking, I have to go home. Like this is great. Not that I'm going to jump into that scene necessarily, but the energy and the graffiti and everything was a wreck, you know, and there was a lot of space. I went back there. I'd been with these flamenco singers who just performed live, and I came home and I was a bit touched in the head and said, recorded music is nowhere, you know, so it's all about live. There were so many people performing on the street.
So you're not making any records at this point. It's all live. I like that. I like that. That's sort of the old school way, you know. I mean, you know what I mean? You're cutting your teeth out there, and then by the time you get in the studio, it's different, but you're really preparing yourself to do what you're supposed to do, make records and go back out and take it to the people, which is the whole, you know, that's the icing on the cake. But you were doing the icing on the cake before you were having the cake. But keep going. I'm listening. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up, you know, I had done a little bit of playing on the street in Venice, and I mean, I was really lucky to have stumbled onto some of these experiences in the carnival in Venice, you know, and then New York was just full of so many things. And I, as a kid, always listened to, growing up with the classical music, there was radio. I listened to like disco. I listened to the punk rock. I listened to the new wave. I listened to the blues. I listened to so many things, and they were all there in New York.
Incredible. Wow. I love it. Rachelle Garnier is my guest today. Google her, please, right now in the break. We're going to be right back. Visit Mississippi.org. Celebrates our music like no other. Check it out. We'll be right back. I'm Steve Azar.
Come on back to Memphis. Come on back to Memphis. Come on back to Memphis. Yeah. Come on back to Memphis. I'm still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. From the In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Rachelle Garnier is my guest today. I can say that. I woke up this morning and said, Rachelle Garnier, I got to get this right. I can't screw it up. Visit Mississippi.org. I can never screw that up. Like I said earlier, we're really celebrating a lot of places in Mississippi that's finally getting a lot of love because the tire company, Michelin, decided to whip on down here. And I don't know what took them so long. It's not that many miles they'd put on their tires. But they finally showed up and given a lot of our great chefs a lot of love this year. Go to visitmississippi.org and find out more of where you can fill your bellies, I'm telling you, in a very wonderful way. So Rachelle is my guest. Rachelle, when you're busking, because that to me is, I mean, you know, we're in New Orleans. We see it all the time when we're there and all that. Can you make a living? I mean, like, how were you surviving when you were over there?
Oh, Well, in Europe and
yeah,
so
in
on?
Europe, Spain, all the times you were busking, and was this your only job? And were you making enough money?
Well, for a minute, I worked in cleaned hotel rooms and so on, and did that. I was on the cheap, like a little bird, cheap, and I got by. Okay. When I got to the city, I came back home. I was like living in a squat building. These were times where you could just sort of really do with very little. There were art galleries, like not fancy ones, but you could go there and get your grapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was cool. It was cool. Yeah. I mean,
you bring up a good point. So when we're younger, right? I mean, I remember going on spring break trips with my friends, and my band was rolling through college and all that, so I had a little bit of spending money, but I didn't have that much, right? It didn't take anything. Like, I think that we were all there in Key West, Florida one time. Shout out to my pals over there, and Lance and everybody who, if he's listening. And I think the last day we decided to stay an extra day, and none of us had any money. And we still had hotel rooms, but somehow, I don't know how we ended up making it work and having enough gas to get home, but it was not stressful. It was like nobody had money when we were that age. Like, you just didn't have any. So you could, it's interesting you're saying that. You just do whatever you can to get by, and it just doesn't take a lot for you to be happy, right? As far as monetarily, it's just a different game back then. Musically for you, have you found yourself going like, you know what? I like the fact that I can make money doing this. Have you chased that ever because of the money, or have you been able to just take care of the music and the music take care of all of that?
Well, it's so funny. I mean, anytime I've ever, and it's the same with busking, that was sort of a big lesson. Anytime I'd leave the house, starting when I was, just earning as I learned, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I got gigs anyways. If I ever left the house, well,
you are, so that's why. But continue. I'm sorry.
Well,
had to throw it in there.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I mean, anytime I left the house with this stress, thinking I really need the money, gosh, this stress. I need that money, and blah, blah, blah. It was always the worst day.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're bringing that up. My dad would say growing up, when we were growing up, the one thing I remember more than anything he ever told me, was, Steve, just do what you love. Work really hard at it, like crazy hard, and it will always take care of you. And then I'm not going to tell you how much, what that's going to look like, but it will never let you all the way down. You'll be fine. And I went, that's crazy. But he always said that, and that sticks with me. And that's how we've told our kids, we're going to roll with it until it fails one of us. But it's been a beautiful thing. And because of that, when I'm writing songs and been able to go through the tough times, even after hits, we went through really tough times, throat surgery, record labels getting sold, all this stuff. And way before that, there was rougher times, and there's rough times, here and there. And you're just going like, when you just get in there and be creative and you just take care of that part of it, it just fixes everything. I know what you're saying. If you start thinking about the financial part, it's an awful day. It's an awful day. I love how you said that. It really is. There's just no way to go about it. And, we're not like in the stock market and working Wall Street, are we? Like, it's all about that. So, let's talk about this. You have a new project you're working on right now.
Yeah, I do.
Let me hear about it.
I'm very excited about it. It's a old friend and colleague and musician, just a very cool guy. I know you've had Andrew Morse on your really good guy. Yeah, and he's just been so supportive of me all through the years, So this is the latest record with him. Made a few, and he chose a lot of the songs. It's covers of some obscure older jazz songs, a couple of one original. It's got folk songs. It's got a Bob Dylan song on there. And I asked the piano player, John Coward, if he would play. He's just wonderful. Charlie Drayton is playing drums. Paul Nowinski on bass, and that's the trio. And I threw some color on piano sometimes, and this and accordion. And it was such a pleasure to work with those guys. And yeah.
When's that record coming or dropping?
Looks like the end of April, I believe.
Okay, that's good. All right, so everybody be on the lookout. Is it going to be under your name, Rochelle?
It'll be under my name, and the name of the record is Born in Time.
Nice. Why is that? What song is that, and why?
That is a Bob Dylan song.
Well, that's the Bob Dylan song. Okay.
That Andrew chose, and I wouldn't have necessarily chosen it. I kind of took it in a direction that he was surprised by, and you've spoken about New Orleans several times. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was from there on my mom's side, and his father from there. So I have some... I don't know if there's any family left there, but what I did is I took that song and sort of put it in there into New Orleans, sort of the mist of New Orleans, the mists of.
Well, it's in your DNA at this point.
Yeah,
you know? And it really is. It's genetic in a lot of ways with you, whether you lived in New Orleans or not. I mean, like you said, your grandfather, your dad. That is it never leaves you. It's in your blood now. You know, I love that.
As strange as that is, it just is. You know?
So you can grow up in New York and you can go to Spain and you can travel Venice and you can do all that stuff. But I love this. This is part of you. To me, you're really finding, and I know you love to experiment with instruments and styles and songs and all that. You're very versatile, and that seems like the honest thing for you to be. But this was part of your path to me, because this is a real honest thing I think you're doing. I really do. I think it's going to really do well for you. When you tour, do you make a record and tour, or are you always playing and you sort of make records in the cracks? How do you do it?
It depends. I mean, for my own records, just under my name, they just sort of happen. I haven't been touring as much as with Vicky Cristina Barcelona, VKB. We've been like working, and we've got a bunch of records coming out, and we work with a label in Germany who also does the booking, ERO. Yeah. So that is very much
You're spending a lot of time overseas playing?
Yeah, with that group for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Vicky Cristina Barcelona band. I just love it. And that's where my daughter was when she studied gastronomy. We got to go over there sort of in the middle of COVID, so it was a little bit of that stress, but man, we loved it so much, and she loved it, and she made a lot of friends for life there, learned how to do it. I'm sorry?
Oh, where was she?
She was in Barcelona, going to school there during one of her semesters, studying gastronomy.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. Rochelle Garnier is my guest today. Visit Mississippi.org celebrates folks just like Rochelle and a lot of us crazy people that get to do what we love to do for a living, and we're grateful for them. Go to visit Mississippi.org. Blessings. I'm Steve Azar. We'll be right back.
We're gonna reach the light, but it's a hard road, baby, that we're moving on down tonight.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
Hey, this is Bob.
From the time you were a little girl, I watched you playing by the river, running through the cotton fields, growing up way too fast, lost in your own little world. You're only 15, going on 21, working on trying to skip on past. I see and know where you are. You feel all that fire in your heart. I hear that.
We got a short segment left, but ain't nothing short about the beauty and just majesty and love of what she does. Is Rachelle Garnier is my guest today. And finally, getting to make a little music that's got a little New Orleans in it. I'm very excited. Now I know why she picked up the accordion. Visit Mississippi.org. Not sure we're the best at that instrument, but you can cross over the state line and you know you're going to hear it. And I'm excited to hear this record. About Time. What's the Dylan song? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Born in Time.
Born in Time. Yes. That's going to be the record. It's going to be out sometime in April. Now, it looks like you've spent, at least made a few records on this one particular label I noticed. Sounds like you got a good relationship with these folks.
Oh, with Story Sound.
Yes.
That's the one. Yeah, that's a wonderful little New York City-based label. It's been wonderful. They got Loudon Wainwright, is one of the artists. Anna Eggy is one of their artists too. All kinds of artists, different people. And I've gotten to meet Suzy Roach and work with her and Lucy.
That's awesome.
And that's also a beautiful experience, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just really fortunate to know people that love music.
Yeah. Well, they're excited. This is a label. It sounds like the artist's label, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah. A&M was that way for years. Mm-hmm. Anybody that was on A&M had the guys that owned it and everything. They would throw a record. I remember Patty Griffin. I was doing shows with her because we were both on Polygram, but we were both on different labels. And we were doing these shows together. And this little girl with this big guitar and this incredible voice and great songwriter. And we were going like, oh my gosh, at night after night, getting to be there and be on stage and sort of showcase ourselves. And I remember they cut this whole album with a band and they spent all this money and she just didn't believe it. And they said, well, what do you want to do? She goes, I just love the demos that she played them with just her and her guitar. And they said, that's the album. That's the kind of record label you want. That's unusual. It sounds like this label here is just like all about you guys being happy. I mean, how important is that?
It's the best. It's so lucky. I mean, years and years ago, I ended up, I wasn't quite sure I wanted to write songs, and I had with this band Mumbo Gumbo, we had made a little cassette, and apparently Bruce Lundvall, who used to be the president of Blue Note, heard this little cassette played at a party and asked me if I wanted to write songs. Long story short, it was like the day I had woken up and thought, should I write songs? And then I got that call.
Come on. When was this?
This was 1996.
And you hadn't written yet?
I wrote, but not a lot.
Isn't that interesting? He figured that out. He saw that in you.
And he was wonderful. And we had a great time, and he gave me some support, and I wrote and recorded and demoed and this. And then it was right on the cusp where he said, everything you're doing, I love. My business guy can't figure it out.
Yeah, no fooling. Yeah, you're not figuring you out like that. Because in a beautiful way, you're a mutt. And I mean that in the most beautiful way, because you've just been influenced like we are down here, and we got all this coming at us. And at some point you got to sort of find yourself, and it's this ongoing adventure, right? Of finding who you are. And I feel like that you're still on this great journey. But yeah, and I mean, like I said, I mean mud is the most wonderful way possible, because you've just been influenced and inspired by just so much around you that you're in this blender of music, and each time it comes out with a record, here it is. You know, I just think that's so awesome, and it keeps it so new to you, you know? Like the first time. It's always like the first kiss to me when we get to do what we do. I know you're in a New York minute. This is a Mississippi minute. And we do have a little longer than a New York minute. We stretch it out, but it's over. But yes, that's how you say it. Live is where it's at. And you can't recreate the feeling that we have with our crowds and they have for us. You know what I mean? That is a love affair every time. I really appreciate you so much, Rochelle. Thank you for taking the time to be with me. Really great to know you.
Oh, likewise. I'm really happy about this conversation. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Rochelle Garnier, folks, check her out. Google her, follow her, and her new record's coming out in April. And I can't thank you enough. We got to get her on Mississippi Soul. Visit Mississippi.org. We are the heart of it all, birthplace of America's music. It's hallowed ground. We'll see you later. I'm Steve Azar.
All right.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.